The ice storms of Kepler-7 howled like angry spirits around the small mining station. Marcus tended to his equipment in the warmth of the main hub, his weathered hands moving with practiced precision over the mineral processors. At 35, he had spent 7 years in this remote outpost, choosing solitude over the complications of civilized worlds. The proximity alarm shattered the evening silence. Marcus looked up from his work, frowning at the flashing red lights on his console. No ships were scheduled for weeks. He moved to the observation deck and peered through the reinforced glass into the swirling white darkness. A small craft tumbled through the storm, its hull glowing red-hot from atmospheric entry. Sparks flew from damaged thrusters as it crashed into the ice field beyond the station perimeter. Marcus grabbed his emergency gear without hesitation. Someone was out there, and in this cold, they wouldn't last long. The trek through knee-deep snow took 20 minutes. When he reached the wreckage, steam rose from the twisted metal hull. Through a crack in the ship's side, he saw movement. A figure emerged, tall and graceful, despite obvious injuries. The being was clearly alien, with pale blue skin that seemed to shimmer in the stormlight and dark hair that moved like liquid silk. She carried a smaller form in her arms, a child barely breathing. Her large, luminous eyes met Marcus's, and he saw desperation deeper than the frozen wasteland around them. When she spoke, her voice was melodic, despite her fear. "Please," she whispered in accented human standard, "my daughter. She is dying. The cold systems failed. I will do anything, give anything, if you help her." Marcus saw the child's lips were turning blue, her breathing shallow and rapid. Whatever differences existed between their species, a dying child was universal language. He stepped forward, extending his arms. "Give her to me," he said firmly. "My station has medical supplies." The alien woman hesitated for a heartbeat, then placed the precious burden in his arms. The child was surprisingly light, her skin cool but not yet frozen. Marcus turned toward the station, the woman following close behind. "What are your names?" he asked as they struggled through the storm. "I am Xena of House Kyrilleth. This is Kira, my daughter." Her voice broke slightly. "And you, human. Why do you help strangers?" Marcus adjusted his grip on the child, feeling her weak pulse against his chest. "I'm Marcus. And because leaving someone to die in the cold isn't something I can live with, inside the warm station." Marcus laid Kira on his medical table while Xena watched with desperate eyes. The child's condition was critical, but Marcus had experience with emergency medicine. He worked quickly, hooking up warming blankets and checking vital signs with equipment adapted for various species. "She live," he said finally, seeing relief wash over Xena's elegant features. "But she needs rest and warmth." Xena sank into a chair, exhaustion overwhelming her. "I have nothing to repay your kindness." Marcus studied her face, seeing intelligence and strength beneath the worry. "Just tell me why you were running through a storm with a sick child." Walls come down. 3 days passed while Kira recovered. Marcus found himself drawn to Xena's quiet strength as she maintained vigil by her daughter's bedside. She moved with fluid grace, her alien beauty both exotic and oddly familiar. When she finally agreed to rest, Marcus offered his own bed while he took the couch. "Your people," Xena said one evening as they shared dinner while Kira slept peacefully. "They have stories about alien women seeking help." "What do they usually want in return?" Marcus looked up from his meal, catching the underlying question. "Depends on the story. Some want gold, some want power. Most want what everyone wants, safety for their children." Xena nodded slowly. "My world is tearing itself apart. Civil war between the old houses and the new republic. Kira's father died in the first battle. I took her and ran when our city fell." "Where will you go?" Marcus asked softly. "Anywhere that will accept refugees. Your human colonies are said to be more tolerant than most." Marcus set down his utensil, studying her face in the soft light. "And what about what you want?" "Not for Kira. Not for your people." "What does Xena want?" The question seemed to surprise her. She looked away, her blue skin flushing slightly darker. "I want peace. I want to wake up without fear." I want my daughter to grow up knowing love instead of war. That's a good start, Marcus said gently. As Kira grew stronger, she began exploring the station with childlike curiosity. Her laughter filled the empty corridors, and Marcus found himself smiling more than he had in years. Zaina watched him with growing warmth, noting how gentle he was with her daughter. One evening, while Kira played with Marcus's collection of mineral samples, Zaina approached him in the observation lounge. "You live here alone?" she said, settling beside him on the small couch. 7 years now. After my wife died in a transport accident, crowded places felt suffocating. Zaina placed her hand over his, her skin warm and soft. Loneliness is a cold companion. Marcus turned his palm up, intertwining their fingers. The gesture felt natural, despite their different anatomies. What about you? Besides Kira's father, was there anyone? Arranged marriage? Political alliance? He was a good man, but we never had time to discover love before the war took him. She squeezed his hand. This feeling, sitting quietly with someone while your child plays safely nearby. I had not imagined it could exist. Their faces were close now. Her alien features beautiful in the starlight streaming through the observation windows. Marcus lifted his free hand to trace the delicate line of her cheek. "Zena," he whispered. "Yes. When Kira is fully recovered, when you have to leave, I don't want you to go." Her breath caught. "Marcus, we are from different worlds literally. So are most couples." In some way, his thumb brushed across her lower lip. "Stay, both of you." Instead of answering with words, Zena leaned forward and pressed her lips to his. The kiss was soft, tentative, then deeper as 7 years of loneliness met a lifetime of duty finally being set aside. When they broke apart, both were breathing hard. "The universe has a strange sense of timing," Zena murmured against his lips. From across the room, Kira giggled. "Mama, are you kissing Marcus?" They sprang apart, both flushing with embarrassment and joy. Their peaceful interlude shattered when long-range sensors detected 3 ships approaching Kepler 7. Marcus recognized the aggressive configuration immediately. Bounty hunters. Zena went pale when she saw the readings. "They found us," she whispered, pulling Kira close. "Who are they?" Marcus asked, already moving toward the station's defensive systems. "House Kyroleth's executioners. They cannot allow me to live and tell other colonies about their war crimes." Zena's voice was steady. Her hands trembled. "They will kill anyone who helped us." Marcus activated the station's shields and grabbed his pulse rifle. "Not today, they won't." The lead ship hailed the station. A harsh alien voice demanded surrender of the fugitives. Marcus responded by targeting their engines with the mining laser. The first ship retreated, but 2 more landed beyond the perimeter. "They'll wait for the storm to pass, then attack on foot," Marcus explained, checking his weapons charge. "The station can hold them off, but not indefinitely." "I should surrender," Zena said quietly. "You and Kira could survive if I know." Marcus gripped her shoulders firmly. "We face this together or not at all." That night, as howling winds provided cover, the hunters approached the station. Marcus had sealed all but the main entrance, creating a choke point. He and Zena waited in the central hub, while Kira slept in the reinforced medical bay. "If we don't make it," Zena said, checking the alien weapon she'd retrieved from her ship, "promise me Kira will be safe." Marcus pulled her close. Their bodies pressed together in the darkened room. "We'll all make it. I'm not losing you now that I've found you." Their kiss was fierce, desperate, filled with the possibility of goodbye. When they broke apart, both were breathing hard. Marcus traced the elegant curve of her neck, feeling her pulse rapid beneath alien skin. "After we get through this," he whispered against her ear, "I want to show you what it means to be loved by a human." Zena's eyes darkened with desire. "And I want to show you how an alien woman expresses gratitude." The first hunter breached the outer door. Marcus and Zena took position, their bodies moving in perfect synchronization. The battle was brief, but intense. When the last attacker fell, they stood among the silence. both wounded but alive. The ships, Xena gasped. Pressing her hand to a bleeding cut on her arm, already handled, Marcus smiled grimly. Mining charges have their uses. They collapsed together on the couch, exhaustion and adrenaline leaving them shaking. Xena curled against Marcus's chest, her head fitting perfectly under his chin. Kira is safe, she murmured. We're all safe, Marcus corrected, his arms tightening around her in the quiet aftermath. With danger past and dawn approaching, they held each other close, both knowing that surviving together had changed everything between them. The choice of Heart's Mourning brought officials from the Human Colonial Authority, responding to the distress beacon Marcus had activated after the battle. Commander Hayes, a stern woman in her 50s, surveyed the scene with professional interest. 3 dead bounty hunters. 1 damaged mining station and a refugee situation, she summarized. Mr. Torres, you've had an eventful week. Marcus stood protectively near Xena and Kira. They sought sanctuary. I provided it, and started an interspecies incident in the process. Hayes turned to Xena. House Kirilleth has filed formal complaints with Colonial Command. They want you extradited for theft of state secrets. What secrets? Marcus demanded. Xena lifted her chin proudly. The locations of civilian refugee camps they've been bombing. Evidence of their war crimes against their own people. Hayes studied the datapad Xena offered. Her expression grew grim as she read. This changes things. If verified, this could expose a systematic genocide, which is why they want me dead, Xena said simply. The commander looked between Marcus and Xena, noting their protective positioning and the obvious bond between them. There's another complication. House Kirilleth is offering a substantial reward for your return, alive or dead. That kind of money attracts attention. Then we disappear, Marcus said immediately. Marcus, no, Xena protested. This is your home, your life. My life is wherever you and Kira are. He took her hand firmly. I've already lost 1 family to circumstances beyond my control. I won't lose another to politics. Kira tugged on Marcus's sleeve. Are we going on another adventure? He lifted the child, smiling at her innocent excitement. The biggest adventure yet, little star. Commander Hayes cleared her throat. There might be another option. Colonial intelligence has been looking for proof of Kirilleth atrocities. In exchange for testimony and evidence, they could offer witness protection and new identities. What kind of protection? Xena asked suspiciously. Relocation to a secure world, new documentation, ongoing support. Hayes paused. But it would mean never returning to your homeworld. Xena looked at Marcus, seeing the hope in his eyes. Then she looked at Kira, who was contentedly playing with Marcus's hair. If we did this, could we choose where to relocate? Within reason, Xena turned to Marcus. There's a peaceful agricultural world called Haven in the Beta sector. Kira could grow up safely there, but it would mean starting over completely. Marcus kissed her forehead gently. Starting over with you sounds like paradise. That evening, as they prepared to leave Kepler-7 forever, Marcus found Xena on the observation deck, watching the stars. Regrets? He asked, slipping his arms around her waist from behind. None, she said firmly, leaning back against his chest. My people have an old saying, sometimes the universe breaks your path to lead you to a better destination. Marcus nuzzled her neck, breathing in her exotic scent. I love you, Xena, of House Kirilleth. She turned in his arms, her luminous eyes reflecting the starlight. And I love you, Marcus Torres of Kepler-7. Their kiss was deep and passionate, sealed with the promise of a new life together among the stars. 6 months later, Haven Colony bloomed around them like a dream made real. Marcus had adapted his mining expertise to agricultural engineering, helping terraform new settlements. Xena worked with colonial xenobiology, her intimate knowledge of alien physiology proving invaluable. Their small house sat on a hill overlooking golden grain, fields that stretched to the horizon. Kira, now fully recovered and growing fast, attended the colony school where human and alien children learned together. Papa Marcus, she called one evening. The title coming naturally now, will you read me the story about the brave miners? Marcus smiled, scooping her up. Only if Mama Xena tells the part about the Ice Princess. I'm not a princess anymore, Xena laughed, emerging from the kitchen with flour in her hair from baking human-style bread. I'm just a woman who found her family among the stars. Later. After Kira was asleep, Marcus and Xena sat on their porch swing, watching the twin moons rise over their new world. Xena curled against Marcus's side, her head on his shoulder. Any regrets? Marcus asked, echoing their conversation from Kepler-7. Only that it took a war to bring us. Together, Xena lifted her head to look at him. But every path, even the painful ones, led to this moment. Marcus tilted her chin up, studying her beautiful alien features that had become more precious to him than any treasure he'd ever mined. To think it all started with a desperate plea in a snowstorm, and a human man who chose compassion over caution, Xena smiled. Kira often asks me to tell her how we met. She thinks it's the most romantic story in the galaxy. Is it? Absolutely, Xena, moved to straddle his lap, her arms around his neck. A lonely miner, a refugee mother, a sick child, and a love that conquered the cold between worlds. Marcus pulled her closer, marveling at how perfectly she fit in his arms. What happens next in our story? Whatever we write together, Xena whispered against his lips as they kissed under the alien stars, the sounds of their peaceful world around them. Both knew they had found something rarer than any mineral, a love that transcended species, distance, and time itself. Their story had begun with desperation, but bloomed into hope, proving that sometimes the most unexpected collisions create the most beautiful new worlds. In the distance, Kira's laughter drifted from her bedroom window as she played with her toys. Safe and loved in the home built by a human's compassion and an alien mother's courage, their family, born from crisis and forged in trust, now looked toward a future bright with infinite possibility, the universe.
Yes.
As Xena had said, sometimes broke paths to lead souls to better destinations. And on Haven Colony, under the light of twin moons, 3 hearts beat as one, writing their own story among the stars.